Essentially, you don't even have to see this indicator. It's not really meant to be seen. The point is to get the signal so we can look at the stochastics of those signals. And you know, this is something that we really want to look at more than anything. This was my short here today. The indicator even signaled, and I looked at the stochastics. Everything was topped out. 5 minute was topped out. 15, wherever we have that short. Here, 15 minute was topped out. 30 minute was topped out. And then obviously the lower time frames were as well, already going down. 1 hour was topped as well. So even though we are, you know, in a big move, you know, on the higher time frames, when we look at the 5 minute, we have a pretty solid move here. And then the second the 5 minute bottomed out, I exited, and overall the full move was around 26%, 25% on 20x, but I took home, I don't know, like close to 20% on this one. AUD USD, show what's going on here. We had here, and obviously if we stayed in a bit longer, would be pretty good. I want to check with Ritz if he did stay or if he went out. Actually, I might have hit this, might have hit 1 TP here, because I just had the order there and I didn't exit. But this was essentially the important part here that we had was this. So we topped out everywhere. That's how we found the actual trade, right? However, there was some stuff going on afterwards. So our 5 minute topped out, our 15 minute topped out, our 30 minute topped out as well. Usually when that happens, 5, 15, and 30 either top out or bottom out. It's a pretty good place to long or short. And then obviously we need to look at the higher time frames, what they're doing. And in this case, they were topped out as well, which, you know, was beautiful. And as you can see, this aligns, and we could have traded the larger move as well here, which would be, you know, a much bigger move. But we had everything topped out here. However, when we went to the 3 minute, was topped out as well. 1 minute was topped out as well. However, as we entered, which was at the bottom of this move right here, that's where we entered at first, and that's where our stop loss was still at the top of this, a little bit higher. This is where we entered. And what happened then was the 1 minute bottomed out without the price moving. So what that means, and this is something that happens often, is you're in a trade, it's already confirmed it's a good trade, but the 1 minute is tops out and starts going against you. What that means is that we'll probably, you know, have some chop, you know, probably go back up to the range before we start the move down. The move down should still be there because our, you know, mid time frames are, you know, topped out perfectly and aligned perfectly, so that moves should still happen. But very, very short term on the 1 minute, we can see some movement against us. So what do we do here? Well, first of all, we assume, or we expect the fact that when the 1 minute bottoms out and goes back up, and the, you know, the structure doesn't break yet, then, you know, we're just gonna chop around a bit. So as we do that and we go further up, that's when we want to add in more into our trade. And what happens? A bunch of things happen actually. So first of all, we have we still have a decent entry here, but, you know, we're pretty high from the top of the range, right? If we get the 1 minute to go against us, we need to look at one specific thing. So when the 1 minute tops out, where is the top of the price? If it shoots above and goes past our stop loss, then that's our answer. But as long as the price stays below the previous range and our 1 minute tops out, it's very, very good news, because what that means is that the next move is going to be down, and as the 1 minute goes down, it will move us away from this top of the range. So when we get the chance of the 1 minute being topped out and we're at the top of the range, that's a great time to enter more, because what will happen is you will move your average entry higher. And you can literally look in the chat earlier today, my morning, so a couple hours ago, I entered at every single top of this 1 minute. So whereas I started my average entry here, it went here, then here, and then pretty high at this point. Which is something that Ritz did as well, by the way, here, right here. And after that, as we're ranging here, what I did was I entered some in, I took some out, I entered some in, I took some out, I entered some in, I took some out, and we went further down. And as we went further down, we broke this range. And as we broke that range, where are we? A bit lost. Then as we broke that range, and you can see the 3 minute did the same thing, by the way. It bottomed out as well multiple times, but then the 1 minute turned it back around. And here with the 3 minute turning down and the 1 minute turning down, that's a really, really good sign. And the 5 minute was just going down all the time. So that was good. And then when we look at the 15 minute, just steady move to the downside. 30 minutes steady move to the downside, so we're fine on that move, right? When the time where it's the most sensitive is right here, but you can see how small of a movement it is here compared to what happened afterwards. So that happened. We broke down, we broke to the downside, we're chopping around here, took some profits here, and then it just fell down and dumped, and it's still dying. So the start, how we found this trade was that we had our alignments, right? Which is literally something that I just coded here. If I go to AUD USD, because that was that, yeah. So if we go to AUD USD, right here, that's our setup right here, right? And then when we look, like obviously, yeah, our 15 minutes bottomed out here, our 30 minutes bottomed out here. But as we're just, falling to the downside with the 3 and 4 hour just going down, right? We don't look at, these stochastics being bottomed out, because there's so much force to the upside. So even when we get the signal of, this is topped out, doesn't really matter, because there's huge red candles going down. So we're not trading that. What we want to trade is ranges, right? We trade ranges, which disqualifies as a range. We revisited the top. We revisit the top with all our time frames aligned to the downside. That's a prime entry for us. It took us a little bit to chop around here. This is on a 30 minute, but when you watch it live, it takes a while. This was a pretty long, like sticky move to the downside, but like we got there and that was the move. The next thing that I saw was I looked at crypto afterwards, and I got a signal on Link. So I just looked at it and I saw the 5 minute being topped out, 15 minute being topped out, the 30 minute being topped out. So same situation here, 3 minute topped out going down, and the 1 minute is at the bottom. What does that mean? Well, that means that we're probably gonna go up. So what I did here, I actually didn't micromanage this trade. What I did here is I entered here, which is pretty low. I entered here, which is pretty low, with the knowing that the chance that we will go back up here is pretty high, because the 1 minute is at the bottom here. So I set orders. I don't remember exactly where I set orders, towards the top of the range and then all the way up here, which got hit as well, by the way. And as those orders got hit and filled, our entry went to wherever this was before. This is the actual entry that I had. And yeah, so as that happened, we were, you know, even with the price all the way up here, I had zero worries. Like I knew like there was no problem because the 1 minute was topped out and everything else was as well. So as that was the case, we knew that we were just gonna go down here, right? So yeah, we're just gonna go down here. So on all the time frames. So that then, you know, we just had to wait, and then the move finally happened. Now that's something important to note. If we enter right away, then that is something that can happen, right? So we need to be aware that we still can revisit the top of the range, which is actually great as well, because we can set our orders there. And if you want to trade like really, really high probability trades, then you don't enter here and you only set your orders here, and then they either hit or they don't. But if they hit at the top of the range, then you have a very, very high, very low risk and high reward trade off the bat. So that's something important as well. And we exited the second the 5 minute bottomed out. There was no more juice for me. So yeah, that's where we just went out. Was pretty much the bottom here. Went out, took profits in the middle here, and then the bottom, took home, I don't know, 20 something percent. I don't even remember. I wrote it down in Discord. And that was that. And this could have been right after, could have been a long as well. Something I did not do because I was looking at XRP right away, which is something that we're still in. And XRP, same thing, bottomed out on the 15 minute, bottomed out on the 5 minute, bottomed out on the 3 minute. Pick your poison. I entered a little bit late here. In my opinion, a little bit late, which was 39. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so not that bad, but you know, when you look at the 1 minute, it was pretty late. The reason that was because the one minute was pretty topped out, so I wanted to wait, and then I still entered with a little bit. Then I went away from my computer, so I did not have these entries here. But if I was on my computer, the 1 minute bottoming out. At my entry, that's when we enter as well. We'll enter more. So that happened, and then we just going up. We're up plenty of percent at this point. This is 40, 50% or something like that on 20x. So those are all the trades that we did. All of them, same scenario. Very simple, really. 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute aligned, and we are in a range, right? So we entered at a point where we bounced off of many times already. That is different from, for example, trying to short here, right? There is no range that we bounced off of before, zero. Right, so you could argue to trade this here, but you know, there's nothing that we bounced off of, so it's much riskier rather than, same as this one. This short is much riskier too, rather than, you know, having a top where we bounce off of. Because even if the trade doesn't work out the way we want to, we still have some upside in our direction. So that's something important to note. So those are essentially the conditions that we're looking for. 5, 15, 30 aligned. The higher time frames ideally are going in our direction. What does that mean in our direction? In our direction means that they're going, well, from bottom to top, and they're somewhere in the, you know, somewhere in the move, as opposed to, you know, the opposite way. For longs, for example, right? So we want the higher time frames to go our direction. We want the 5, 15, and 30 aligned. And then the 3 and 1 minute, those are timing indicators. And the 1 minute is very, very helpful when we're in a trade, any trade really, and we want to see if we still have some upside or downside, right? So we see a short coming, right? But the 1 minute is bottomed out. Well, that means that there's still going to be some upside, right? And there, it has no, it doesn't really make sense to enter here, because the 1 minute is probably going to top out again, and that's when we enter, right? And that would have been a much better short than here. So that's something important. Here, this short we wouldn't take again, because there's nothing to be bouncing off of, right? So that's something important to note. So those are all the trades we went through, right? Our indicators just gave us the signals. So whenever something tops or bottoms, we can look at it, right? The main thing, those signals topped or bottom. 1 second, I think the dogs are gonna bark. No. Echo. Sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Right, so whenever we get a signal, something's topping or bottoming, we can take a look. Like, for example, here, New Zealand USD. We'll just have it load, maybe. All right, here we go. New Zealand USD was bottoming, right? Okay, that looks pretty good for bottoming to me. We got the signal at 30, which is 6 minutes ago, which is right here. So yeah, we have bottoming 5, 15, 30. 1 hour is bottoming, 2 hours going down. So this is a pretty good point. However, here we're bouncing off of here, so we have at least some movement here, but I don't like this huge move to the downside. That's a bit dangerous to have. But yeah, that's basically what we analyze. We analyze all the other time frames. Are they topped or bottomed? Okay, so here our 1 minute is topped, so we're not going to enter. What we're going to do is we're going to wait for the 1 minute to bottom out again. And the question is, where does it bottom out, right? Does it bottom out here? Then our trade is broken, right? Does it bottom out here? Then that's going to make more sense, right? So yeah, so as it bottoms out, and if it bottoms out and the price aligns with the 1 minute, then that will make a little more sense to enter. So any signal that we get here, that's basically what we analyze. We analyze, are we topped or bottomed? And as we're topped and bottomed, we analyze, are we at a support or resistance level? If we are, we can trade it off of that. So just going through these signals is going to be more helpful than going through other signals. Here we had a short, which would have been a nice short here. As you can see, it's a small short, right? Because we turned back around, and this is, by the way, I haven't looked at this, right? So there's a short here, right? I'm going down, and then the 5 minutes starting to turn around, right? What does that mean? That means that the 3 and 1 minute and/or have to start going bottoming out and going up. So when we look at the 3 minute bottomed out here and started going up, right? So what that means, or when we see the this is why it's important to look at lower time frames, because they predict what the higher time frames are going to do. So we see the 5 minute and it's starting to turn here, and we kind of need to predict at this point, is there some more juice in the 5 minute? Because if it bottoms out, then the price is going to go down. But if it starts turning, then there's some bad news. So what we're going to do is look at this smaller time frames, look at the 3 minute, that's bottoming out, right? And evening out. If we look at the 1 minute, where's that? Here. That's completely bottomed out. It's completely bottomed out and going up, right? So as it's completely bottomed out and going up, that means that the 3 minute is going to start going up, And as the 3 minute starts going up, well, that makes sense that the 5 minute will start going up. And as all those start going up, then we look at the 15 minute, then there's going to be some chop there, right? So the 5 minute is going to go further up, that just means that we don't want to stay in that trade. So that's something important to look at. So there's that. We have Link. Link has been shorting, obviously, because we're in a big move here, but we want to make sure, you know, yes, we can try and short this, but I would much rather, you know, have a bounce here and then either long or have a bounce and then short it again when we had some levels there. I want to establish a range, and as we establish a range, it's going to be much, much easier to trade it. A long here would make sense, right? That would be an indicator 15 bottomed, the 30 minute wasn't really bottomed here, so really it was just this long, and this Link long right here was from yesterday. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was from yesterday that we were looking at on yesterday's live call. That was the long that I exited, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's just a gift that keeps on giving here. Cool. All right. So let's see. Do we have any setups right now? Let's go to Bitcoin. It's usually around this time, like literally around the time of us trading, when we have some big moves. So honestly, it might make more sense to trade it a little bit earlier and then trade those moves. But yeah, so Bitcoin had a short here. You know, everything topped out here. Could have shorted it. Even if it's a consolidation period, like we don't care when we see the setup, then the setup's here. On this indicator, this is when it sends the signals that it's topping or bottoming. Probably even signal here, right, at 2100, which was right here. So the signal, you know, as we got the signal, we could have looked at it and made a nice couple percent here, 15%. So yeah, that's that. Also with the longs. So right now we're starting to top out. Again, 15 minutes still has ways to go. 30 minutes still has a couple ways to go here. So really what I love to see is some tops and bottoms. Also what I saw is like by the time when I wake up, that's usually when good setups happen, and they happen together. Obviously in crypto, right? So something topping out and bottoming out. I mean, we can literally see how often that is. Here, these ones, the green, red, means the 5, 15, and 30 topped and bottomed out at the same time in alignment. And this took 16 hours. So in 16 hours, we had essentially 4 signals. So every 4 hours, we either top out or bottom out. Pretty much, essentially. So essentially every 4 hours we have a signal, and that should be something that is pretty general. I don't know if I can add in the indicator here. I think this one. Right, so excluding the ones that just happen in a big move, because we wouldn't trade those anyways. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. Obviously when we go further up, then even when the bottom is out, we look at higher time frames and we see that that's not gonna be any helpful here. When we see something like this, then obviously we don't want to short it. We want to wait for our setups, right? Because we have no reason to FOMO into something when we have a strategy that is a very, very high hit rate, and where we just, you know, do everything. what we want here is, you know, be in a long, positioned in a long, like I am on XRP right now, and then, you know, we can take profits, we can exit, but, you know, we are in a long, and this one happened, you know, a couple hours ago. So that's something important to see. So right now, take a look at BTC topping here. Yeah, so right now the 30 minutes topped, 15 minute is topped, still up though. 5 minutes topped, 3 minute, 1 minute, all of them are topped, but we are in a pretty bullish situation. I don't have anything to base this off of except here, so and here. So I can draw a line. I can draw a short, not saying that I'm going to take it, but we don't want to go higher than this level here. That's all the leeway that we have, and really ideally we don't want to go higher than here. So honestly, if I was scalping, I could enter a short right here because of the 1 minute being topped out, and then just wait for the 1 minute to go down and see what happens with the 1 minute, because everything else here is topped out. I don't like the direction of the 15 minute, but you know, if the 5 and 3 just go down, then that's gonna be helpful. Okay, so right now that theory seems plausible. So as we're going down at this entry, which I just did live or semi-live, I didn't enter actually because I'm talking, but if I was scalping, that's something that I would do. But we can just, you know, play it out as if we were in this trade. But really what I want to look at is the 1 minute here and see, okay, is the 1 minute, like how far does the price go as the 1 minute goes down, and how does it affect these time frames here, the 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, right? The 15 minute needs to turn around here. The 30 minute needs to turn around here, which is going to be closed in 13 minutes. So we want the 1 minute to not go further up, as if the 1 minute would turn back around and go further up, that's bad news. We don't want the price to go any higher than here. So as we talked about, this is a level where we would add in quite substantially, assuming that the 1 minute is topped out, right? So that's important. Now we just kind of need to see what happens here. Any upward movements concerning my actual account is good because we're in the XRP move, and this is not the TP. The TP is actually very high, just in case it shoots up there, but we're just actively managing the trade. So yeah, we're just gonna see what happens here. But here, once again, 5 minute topped, 15 minute going up, 30 minute going up, 1 hour going up here. So yeah, short term, you know, some movement to the downside would make sense. That's why this would make sense as well. So we're just gonna see how that goes. The indicator showed us that everything was topped out. The last few times that was the case, we did have some downwards movement, which is also good to see. That just shows us that the indicator is aligned. Right, so right here, 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 and here. So that's good to see. However, we do not want to go higher than these levels right here. We can, obviously, we can, but you know, if we go any higher than this, then that's a separate trade. It wouldn't make sense to scalp it. So really the question is, what do we do here with the 5 minute and a 3 minute and a 1 minute? Do we, as the 1 minute keeps going up, the question is, where does it top out and start going down? And as it starts going down, does it break this level, meaning that it actually starts going down. And as that happens, what is the price doing? Is it going together with us? So right now, you know, in the middle of this, I would enter in a little bit as I get closer to this level where I entered before, which, you know, should have some significance, which was, you know, a top out on the score here. So, you know, my entry would be a little bit higher here. And now we're just waiting. Still getting used to talking and trading. But yeah, we would ideally, we see this range here, right? So we don't want the 1 minute to go above this range, close above it, and we do want the 1 minute to go below this range. So that's kind of what we want to see. And but yeah, we're catching a falling knife or flying knife in this scenario. So because our reference points are pretty far. I know that it's the 5 minute, but those are pretty far from a move, right? We can look like, okay, we can see some range here, but that's pretty high. I can probably put this away so it's easier to see. But yeah, we're going back to this range. You know, bouncing further down makes sense, but you know, still a more risky situation. So that's that. XRP is going fine here. We do want some more upside, ideally. Our higher time frames are, you know, in the process of topping out as well. So, you know, we want to take profits at a reasonable time. And yeah. So, yeah, there's that. The Bitcoin's starting to go down here. This is good. This is what we wanted to see, right? 1 minute, just past this level. What I'm gonna do right now real quick is look at my account. 1 second. Okay, hey, this looks pretty good. I think our scalp worked out. Here we go. So our 1 minute is going down, right? Now we want this 1 minute to move this price as much as possible. We want to start the 3 minute move, which kind of happened already, but we want to go past this point, go down, down, down. We want everything to go down here. 5 minutes, good. 5 minute just turned downwards. We want this to close like this and get us another candle that's going. We got a short signal here as well, which is good. Our 15 minute is showing a really nice candle here, and the big move up kind of slowed down. So we want, you know, a trend like this. We don't want to go above this level here, right? So that's something we will be looking at. What else do we have when we go to our 30 minute? Our 30 minutes doing just fine. We want continuation to the downside, which is going to close in 6 minutes. And then our 1 hour is topping out as well. We want movement down, which is going to close in 6 minutes as well. So that's something that we'll be looking at, but also it's an hourly close. So whatever is happening here can be just an impulse for the hourly close. So that's something important to note as well. So that's that. Usually a very common behavior of your trade, what's going to happen is going to enter, price might move, price might move for you, and then it will turn against you. As it turns against you, that's the time to think about entering in more. We would have possibly entered it in a bit more too, but would have, could have. So So that's that. And then as that happens, we see some upside, usually go back, might chop around here before seeing some more movement to the downside, which in this case might be the case. What we want right now is, obviously pretty simple. We want this to go further down, further down. This is going to close in 4 minutes here. Which is going to be the hourly close, which is going to be important. So now we kind of need to look at this because, it can be a downwards impulse before we shoot further up. So obviously I would take profits at some of these levels here. This level is interesting because that's a level that we said yesterday that we're going to hit it, and we did, because it's all I saw were these wicks here. Simple. All right, so now we just want to see this continuation of a downside. Does the 1 minute help us? Okay, so the 1 minute's turning down. What does this mean? So what this means is very possibly we might see some upside again. So if I was scalping here, which like I announced that I would, so take a little bit of profit here, if you want to overdo it, because we might go further up again, top out once more, top out at this level, maybe even higher, before we go down once again. That's something that is possible, right? It's also possible that something like this happens where we just go further down. Also very, very possible to happen. So now we just see what's gonna happen here. 5, 15, 30. The 30 is our friend here. We want this, ideally we want this to start going further down. So what will happen here in 3 minutes is that we will close this candle and get a new candle. So we will essentially get 2 new data points, which is the close of this candle, see how straight down this is going to be, and then we're going to see how much further the other one's going to go, which is something important to see. So yeah, we're dancing around this level, which is good. Really what matters now is the 135 here. And as of right now, it's still looking good. Price will just dance around, but the likelihood of touching these levels is definitely there. As we said here, we don't want to break these levels here. I'm talking about the orange one, the D. The K, we don't even need really. I was going to leave it on, but you don't really need it. So here, once again, this wick is also good. So if we close with the wick like this, it's good. Even if we see some upward pressure, we should not see anything higher than this level here. So yeah, this could be bouncing around. We will see. Our 3 minutes doing fine here. Let me just delete this real quick. 5 minute was doing fine. 3 minutes doing fine. 1 minute is going up. That's actually what we want, because we want the 1 minute to charge up the move before we start going further down. So what we want is the 1 minute to come up, get it over with, rip off the band-aid, but we want the price to not go much further up, right? Ideally, if we stay below the previous high while we top out the 1 minute, it's a really, really good sign for us. In fact, it's a good enough sign to add in a bit more. So that's something very, very good to see. We just need to wait out what's going on here. When we look at the score is starting to increase a little bit. Why is that happening? Well, obviously because the 1 minute, the other ones are kind of fine. The 15 minute is not that great because it's going up, it's adding into the thing. Okay, so here we go. Now we just added in the new candle. So if we look at the 30 minute, load it up. So 30 minutes going up right now, but that will change pretty quickly if we see some if we see a red candle. The 5 minutes going down, 3 minute is turning up, and the 1 minute is going to be going up. So we want the 1 minute to top out. That's really what matters right now. Also would add in here possibly a little higher. We'll wait a little bit longer. But what I would have right now is a order here for sure. What's XRP doing? It's just chilling. That one's just fine. Here we're watching the 1 minute, the most eventful time frame out of these, obviously. We just want to see this movement to turn to the downside, especially when we have this movement to the upside here. But yeah. And really, the more we get our entry to the top of the range, the better it is for us. And then as the move breaks down, we're gonna have a better, we're gonna be doing better all along. So the entry is important. No, just topping out. Let's take a look at that. I mean, everything will be signaling topping out now because we're just in a big run here. 30 minutes topping out, 15 minutes in the process of topping out, 5 minutes topping out, 3 minutes. So I'm sure that there's going to be some more cycles with the 3 and 5 minute before the 15 really starts going down here. So I would not short this just yet. I would need some confirmation that the 15 minutes starts going down. So that's important to look at. Bitcoin's doing well right now. Just gotta see. We like to see this, right? This move down is good, especially if it continues to the downside. So that's great to see. When we look at the 15 minute, kind of broke this level, right? So that's not great. We broke this level here. We broke the trend. However, we don't want to break this, which would be this level right here. So that's important to note. Other than that, really we're just gonna let this play out. At this point I would have an add in here. My stop loss is still pretty tight, but with this add in here, like I'm okay with this loss if that happens, right? Because it's much smaller. So I would much rather add in here and have even an extra trade that's risking this much, but I'm gonna move my price up quite a bit, which is gonna help me substantially if we still gonna go down. And so essentially assuming that this is your trade, right, the closer you get to your stop loss, the bigger of a discount you get on your trade, which means much smaller loss and much bigger win. So you are getting an advantage on both sides, your risk and your profit, which multiplies, literally multiplies. So that's important to see. When we look at the score, our score's keeping pretty low. We want to stay below this level. So as the score, I don't know if you guys see it, the score line here, as it keeps going down, that's good. We want it to be red again. So yes, this is a good sign that we didn't break higher. Still can happen, of course. What I would love to see would be the 1 minute really just topping out here, just getting it out of the way, ripping the band-aid off, and then we can start to move to the downside. That'd be very nice to see. But right now it's just chopping around, so we just gotta see what's gonna happen. I really don't like my entry here though. I would much rather have entered more here, which is something that I probably would do if I wouldn't be, you know, narrating this like it's a sports game. But yeah, what are you gonna do? I'd much rather have my average entry around here, which first of all I would add in much more at the first top, and then add in much more after the second top. Which, if that, you know, me just adding in there and, you know, getting my average entry here would mean that, you know, instead of being down like 80% of the time in this trade, I'd be up like 80% of the time of this trade, which is a huge deal. It's a huge difference, right? Big difference for your risk management. So yeah, right now what we want to do is we want to break down, we want to break this level. Once we break this level, we're doing fine. We're gonna touch this level, and then that's our trade, right? That's where we were gonna make our money. So that's really, we're just caught in this range right now with the 1 minute kind of doing its thing. The 3 and 5, they still haven't been moving, which is good because we had this move with this little move of the stochastic, which means that the bottom of the stochastic, you know, could be somewhere here, which is great. It's exactly what we want to see. But the lower time frames need to allow us to do this, right? So 1 minute, right now we're at the bottom of this range. So as we're at the bottom of the range, we need to look at, okay, where's our stochastic? Our stochastic is actually at the same level, or close enough to the same level where it turned around before. That's something important to note, because that can happen once again. So right now, as that's the case, maybe I will take a little bit of profit, and then that profit that I make, I would just add in again into this order if we hit it, or this, probably just layer it in here. So yeah, those are, you know, little differences that will just let you go the extra mile in your profits. Like, you know, compounding this over a year will, you know, that's a difference of millions. So you know, once you get the muscle memory, like, you'll always try to challenge yourself, and it's better to challenge yourself like this with the small things, right? So once again, our 1 minute is bottoming out. What I would like to see is us reaching the bottom of the range with the stochastic, the 1 minute still having ways to go. If that happens, then, you know, we're going to break the range. But as we reach the same level, and we'll start turning around back up as we reach the bottom of the range, well, then we're going to bounce off of this range again, and we need to wait one more cycle in order to do this move. What is good for us is that, you know, the 3 and 5 seem unconcerned. They just keep going down, which essentially will start pulling everything down with it, which is great. The 30 minutes obviously is going to turn, like, the next 30 minutes is going to be a while till that happens. But until then, you know, if we get the 30 minute down, that'd be great. For us to get the 30 minute down, though, we would actually need to, like, finish our move. So that kind of gets out of the game now. Here we still have, you know, a pretty good line. Pushing this one, this 50 minute, as down as possible would be good. But really, that's just going to take another candle, which is going to close in 5 minutes here, for that to happen, because this is still going up, and we had a pretty red candle. So unless we just, you know, drop here, it's going to take one more candle to see some downwards movement on the 15 minute. On the 5 minute, we're looking very strong, actually. Closing this would be great in 10 seconds. So it might happen as long as some dumbass doesn't buy like 100 million in Bitcoin on market buy right now in the next 3 seconds. Our 3 minute tried to bounce up, but didn't. Great sign. Stochastics going further down. Great sign. 1 minute, we're bottomed out here. So we bottomed out at the bottom of the range, which is not something that's great. We're actually really, really low here. So two things that can happen. Who knows? what can happen is that the 1 minute gets caught at the bottom, and we just go up, down at the bottom as we continue going down. What could happen, right? It's important what we see right now, right? Do we bounce? Do we break? We just broke a little bit, but we can still bounce, so we kind of have to see what's going on here. So this could bounce. And the 3 minute is still continuing down, so that's great. Okay, so at this point, we're doing pretty good here. The only thing that I would regret is not getting a better entry. Like, look at this, right? Look at this trade, and then look at this trade. There's a difference, and then look at this trade. Quite the difference. If you enter here, which is, by the way, the top of the 1 minute, so you could have caught it, you would be in profit the entire trade, 100% of the time. Here, you'd be in profit close to 100% of the time, which is when the 1 minute turned back down, which is something that you could have caught as well. Well, me, actually. We entered here, I think, and then we added in a little bit, so assuming we're like here somewhere, because we added in right here, which probably give us a little bit like here. Still dancing towards the bottom here, and the 1 minute starting to go up, so a little take profit here, little take profit. Anytime I see movement against me, I just like to take a little bit of take profit. So there's that 3 minute, still going down. What we want to see, 5 minute, perfect, 15 minute. Okay, so now we're going down here. What we want to see obviously is in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, get a new line here, a new candle that starts going down. That's what we want to see. We need to break this choppiness. We need to start going down. It needs to look like our 5 minute. Our 30 minute is still going up, I would assume. So here, ideally what we want to see in the next 50, once a 30 minute breaks, the next candle, we want to see some downside. That would be pretty important to see. And also, it's very, very important to note what kind of move we're looking at here, right? I'm literally looking at the 1 minute, right? That does not mean that I'm at the 4 hour and I'm targeting freaking 40K, right? Which is, I know some people that will target that. No, that's not what we're doing. We're literally shorting an alignment in a bull run. So, yes, we can expect the price to go, down a little bit, but there's we need to be aware of the move that we're trading. Very important, because you can be right but wrong at the same time, because you're right that the price is going to move, but it might just move a little bit, and it's valid. Even if it moves a little bit, it's valid as long as you can catch it. And by the way, once the 5 minute starts going up, we're out of the trade. Same with the 3 minute. The 3 and 5 start going up. I don't see any downwards pressure that would help us in the short term, right? Looking at the 3-4 hour, in the next 12 hours, yes, we might, even break this range, go further down, but that's not our trade. I'm literally said at the beginning of the trade that I'm scalping this trade. This is what we want to see. This is good to see. Hopefully it holds. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. If it does not hold, then what we want is not to go higher than this level. But ideally, we want to turn this back around down, which would be great because, when we start going down, we just turn down on the 1 minute and we're at the bottom of the range. It's probably a good sign that we're going to force it back down. Now the 3 and 5, they're pressing this further down. However, they only have that much juice left, right? So they still have juice, right? But, if the 1 minute or the range would be holding the entire time while the 3 and 5 bottom out and they have no more juice to give to try and break this further down, then there's only one way for them to go, which is up. And we don't want to be in that consolidation period, because that can just very easily break this further up, which is we don't want to see that. So we're still going down here, 1 minute is very important. What's going to happen, you know, we're always at the risk of just the 1 minute shooting up, right? So that's why, you know, looking at this 1 minute is very important to see. This is exactly what we want to see. We just need to hold this, which, you know, kind of seems to be the case right now, because we're going to close and the next one's going to go a little bit lower. And as we break this level, this could finally help us break this range. So now, you know, assuming we took a little bit of profit. So overall here we're up 4%. Yeah, so kind of minimal. We're risking how much? 0.3, 10, 20. We could go like 25x here, so be up at like 6% right now. But yep. Again, I'm not going to repeat it, but I would like the entry much higher here. Okay, so this is good. Like, we're kind of forming like a mini range here, and as long as we don't break it upwards, which is towards this level, it's actually pretty good. Would be great to not break this further up, which would, you know, have us with the 1 minute help us go further down. The 3 minutes forcing us down, which is what we want to see. And, you know, the 3 minutes is going to bottom out at some point as well. But by the time it bottoms out, we need the higher time frames to get enough momentum to shoot us further down. If it was chopping like this, it's going to turn back around to the upside. We don't want that. We want this to go further down. So the 30 minute especially, we need some downside here. If we see some downside here, then this trade stops being a scalp and starts being a bigger trade. You know, so that's something that we're looking at as well. Really, what we're looking at now is the 3 minute. Like, is it going to help us go further down? Are we finally going to break this thing? What's the 1 minute going to do here? Right now, we're in minimal profits. From our entry, we took profits here and here. So average is here, which is 0.2% here. So 0.2% is right here. So if we exit at this point, 0.2%, probably at this point. If we exit around this point, we're breaking even on our trade, which is good. At this point, do I want to see a price that's higher than this level? Absolutely not, because this is a long way to go. Here, max, right? Maybe a wick, but I don't want to see this to go higher. So, yeah. Now, finally, the 1 minute is finally going up. Something inevitable that's going to happen anyways. We want to see this breakdown. This is a very similar scenario that we had on AUD. As you can see, here's our range. Here's our 1 minute. Just dancing around for a long time, getting the highest level that we had before, you know, take out some stop losses for some people, and then start to move to the downside. Same with Link. Let me go to the 1 minute here and scroll down to the short that I had. Same here. Very similar. We entered, went up, took out some stop losses from this previous high, and then started to move down, broke down. So that's something that we can anticipate as well. Maybe we will have another level, you know, somewhere here. What are we going to do? Our stop losses here, we're going to add in here. Because, you know, if it goes there to fake out people and take out stop losses, that's the best time to enter. And it literally is, because you have instant, like you get rewarded for that move instantly, because it starts going down and you have zero downside on this. And that would move our average entry literally here, which would be beautiful to see. But if the price doesn't go all the way up there, fine with me. I would love the 1 minute to turn before we go to this level and go further down. As that happens with the 1 minute charged up, because when, okay, look, so the 1 minute, the last time it topped out, the price was here. If we're gonna top out now and the price is here, then we have some downside to go. So that'd be great to see. "30 seconds till this closes." Continuation downside here would be great. Still looking at the 3 minute. We're getting close here. We're getting close to the downside. I don't love that. I don't love that. It still has some movement, like some ways to go. But that is something to be, sorry, that's something to be aware of. So, yeah. This is nice. Like to be at the bottom of the range, but would like to break it. Would like to break it. So the 1 minute is going down again. Like right now we're at the bottom of the range. We just need some impulse here. Right now, if this was XRP and Alex was trading, I would just text him and he would just market sell a bunch of XRP, so we would just go down and finally break this. No financial advice. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's a joke, it's not real. Once again, the score is lower than before. Also, what we want to see, 1 minute's just dancing around here. It's all good. We just don't really want to go further up here. Like, you know, I'm gonna call for an hour now, so I got a call after this, so would not love to do this entire process. I'd probably, honestly, at this point, I would probably just stop loss to break even because of my time constraints. If I played this longer, then maybe. XRP, let's just look at this. I mean, it's just been marching around here. We see the 3 minute going down, the 5 minute going down without any movement to the downside here, which is good. What we want to see here, because we're in a long, is we want to see the stochastics to go down and then further up. Our higher time frames are still on the move up, so that's good. I'm in this trade with Cypher. Cypher's targeting 69 cents for some reason. So yeah, giving him some leeway here. His entry though is a bit higher. It's like 641 or something like that. So yeah, what are we doing? Same thing, just chopping around. Ideally, don't want to go above this level. What's our 15 minute doing? Turning down. Great. What's our 30 minute doing? Turning up still, but the next candle should probably save this. CHZ just threw out a short here. Valid. Okay, so here's our 5 minute. This is important now. Our 5 minutes kind of turning here, which is not great. 3 minute bottoming out. Okay, so I'm taking some profits here for sure. Taking some profits, seeing where the 1 minute tops out. When the 1 minute tops out and we're here at break even or something like that, or even at this range somehow, we're good for further move down. But this is not great to see. This is just the start of the candle, so the candles can still end down and have this move down, but we can have some movement to the upside. So taking some more profits here because we're scalping. Our 15 and 30 are getting in a situation where it might look good for like a bigger move to the downside, which is great. So yeah. Three minutes testing our patience right now. This is great. This is great. The 1 minute going all the way up is beautiful, especially when it starts turning down at around this point. That'd be amazing if the price would stay around here and would start going down. That would be a very, very good indication to go further down. That would be great to see. So right now we took profits here like 3 times. So we're profitable on the trade no matter what. I'm not gonna let this trade be unprofitable. Again, worst case break even. So our stop loss would be somewhere around here, I would assume. Just because I don't want to lose when I was right before. So right now, what we want to see is this turn to the downside. As it turns to the downside, well, there's probably going to be downside. This is not good. This 3 minute going up, not great. 5 minute going up, not great. So if we see continuation here that the trade is done, we take home like a little bit of profit that we had here in the scalp trade. And that's it. This candle on a 30 minute, also not great at all. We can literally see when that happened. This happened here, continued here, continued up. Somewhere else probably. So what's gonna happen, most likely, is if we're gonna close it like this, what's going to happen most likely is that we're going to have some upside before we start moving further down, which should be these larger time frames actually shorting. So my scalp trade could convert into a larger short, which might make sense. That would mean the 3 and 5 topping out all over again. The 15 minute chopping around a little bit, the 30 minute chopping around a little bit, but then eventually moving this 1 minute to the downside. So with the stop loss above this level here, would still make sense. But that's a different trade. So what I would do is my scalp trade is not gonna lose money, right? No matter what. And then if we hit this level, I would exit out of here. Like I would not do this, but if we hit this level, I would enter in order to make a bigger move to the downside. So that's what I would do. By the way, I really like the new Discord layout, the design. I actually like it quite a bit. It looks like, looking at it the entire day, it's pleasant to look at. So yeah, here we go. Probably topping out here based on a 1 minute. And as that happens, this is something very similar happened here, very similar that happened here. You know, here it literally took us 1 hour, like 1 hour 30 minutes really to break this range, 2.5 hours to break this range. So it could be something similar to at this point we've been waiting here for here's when we entered 46 minutes. Could be something like this, right? So leaving leeway here, adding in orders here, 1, 3, 5, 15. So 5 and 3 need to top out at this point. 1 minute is topped out, you know, could be some down movement. 30, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, all topped out. So yeah, could see some downside here. So add-ins here. I'm not risking essentially any profits. I'm up on the day close to 40-50%, so I can afford this trade. I have 2 entries here. I'll take a profit here, 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 and here. And this is essentially my setup. And I'm gonna hop off the call right now. But what I'm gonna do is, obviously this is live, right? We can look at the Discord. There's a live call. But what I'm gonna do is, for the YouTube video, I was gonna, you know, tomorrow cut it together and fast forward and show the result of this trade, whatever would happen. So yeah, that's all. I gotta go now. Hey Ritz, what's up, man? How's it going? Good to have you. I'm about to hop off. We've been looking at, well, actually we set up a bunch of indicators and a bunch of signals. Then we went through the trades that we did today, including AUD USD, which, by the way, Ritz, amazing first trade. Like, I don't know if you looked at it, but this thing fucking flew down. Look at that, Ritz. Look at that. That's sick. That's a great first trade. So I did that. I did link. I did a link short somewhere here. Did a link short. Did an XRP long that I'm currently in right now, and now I was scalping a Bitcoin short. Just explained it, took some profits at the bottom here. Will re-enter at these levels if they hit. This, you know, can be a situation very similar to what we've been having with AUD USD with Ritz. We just took like forever to actually do the move. Yeah, I'm about to get off, do the last bit of calls and go to sleep. And then I want to wake up early tomorrow and trade tomorrow. I like the setups that are happening by the time when I wake up. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. And yeah, just see how this trade plays out. Took some profits, worst case break even, and we'll see how it plays out. When you watch the YouTube video, you'll see the results of this trade in a couple seconds. Ritz, you can trade. You can trade, but either do a demo account or do a very, very small size. Very small size. It's very important. All right, cool. And this trade was great. We're just gonna keep doing these trades. Today I did, well, this is my fourth trade. Other than that, and this, by the way, was just for the Discord. I didn't actually enter it. The other ones I did. I did 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 trades, all of them profitable. Did around 40-50%, and yeah, that's it. Hey, there's a dog about to bark in a second. All right, guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the Discord. All right, guys. So it's the next morning, and here's how the trade played out. I have it on replay. I'm just gonna play through it real quick. It did go how we expected it to go, and hit 2 TPs. At which point the 5 and 15 minute bottomed out, so we just exited. So that is all. Let me just go ahead and replay this. So we were here on the live call. We're chopping around, hit TP1, bounced off, went further down, hit TP2 at this point. And at this point, our 3 minutes bottomed, our 5 minutes bottomed, and our 15 minute is about to be bottomed. Right here, starts turning. At that point, I exited, and that was it. After that, the price just went further up and continued to move upwards. So we successfully traded the small consolidation here based on our strategy and our alignments. And this is something that we do multiple times a day. All right, that's all. That was just the review of the trade, and I'll see you guys in the Discord.